Hello, everyone. Hello, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Lindsay, Anna, Janet. Thank you. Hope everyone is well. Happy Tuesday night. I was trying to think. I don't even know what night of the week it is. Hi, Anna. So tonight we're doing a Mother's Day class. So bit general in terms of it, but some great dishes that we thought that everyone would love. Great and easy dishes to get on the table very quickly and a variety. So we've got thank you to Jen, Raf, and Daniela for helping us out with this class. And each one is going to do, we've got two savory dishes and Raf's going to do a little bit of a dessert. So something great, something to get on the table quickly. And hey, Mother's Day is about making life easier. We know our Thermomixes make life easier, and why not cook up a storm with these little dishes? So we have. We're going to start with Daniela. She's going to do a chicken teriyaki. It's actually a Skinny Mixes recipe. If you've heard of Skinny Mixes, she is a recipe developer. She's kind of independent of Thermomix, but Thermomix has commissioned her to kind of put a few on Cookie Do, which is great. Her dishes are generally healthy dishes and, very mindful of calories and macros and all those kinds of things, but delicious tasting stuff. So Danielle's going to start um, with our chicken dish. So I will spotlight you, Daniela. If you have any questions, please throw it in the chat. I am ready to go. And also I will throw in the recipe link into the chat so you can access them too. So I'm just going to spotlight. So Daniela, you are spotlighted.
Hi
And you can
everyone, welcome to my kitchen. So I actually already started browning the chicken and it literally just finished as Teresa was talking. And I'll just make sure that it is cooked through. Yeah, wonderful. So I just started off with 10 grams of olive oil and there's about 250 to 300 grams of chicken thigh fillet skinless in here. And the Thermomix cooked that off for me using the high heat intense mode. So I'm just going to now transfer that over into my thermo server to keep everything warm while we move on to the next step.
Yeah, so with the TM7 as well, it hits a high heat, which the other older models don't. So that particularly gives everything a better taste. So we're hitting a high heat, a high temp. So you're getting more flavor in those things that you're browning off and stuff like that. And I can see Danielle is using her brand new server. That server is a new and improved design on those servers that you can't get at the mix shop. It is definitely a host reward at the moment, and I think it is next month too. Stay tuned. So if you want to get your hands on one of the good old thermo servers, but the new and improved one, definitely reach out to your consultant and they'll be able to help you out.
Actually, I'm just gonna actually cook that for a bit longer because I did put more chicken
More
in
chicken
here,
in?
yeah,
Yeah,
than the
no
recipe asked
worries.
for. So it's
We
still
can
quite working. So I'm
we
just
can go
gonna
to
try.
Jen. We can
Yeah,
start Jen. So Danielle's cooking the chicken. We'll go to Jen. So what Jen is cooking? Oh, Jen, do you want to share what you're cooking? Because it sounds
Yes, I
delicious.
would love to. So I'm cooking it's a beetroot, kale and goat's cheese salad. Don't be afraid of kale, you know.
I am
It's
afraid of kale.
all right. A lot of people are afraid of kale, and I imagine if you were just to eat the kale by itself, it would be not palatable. Palatable. But if you cook it correctly in the right way with your Thermomix, then you can add it to something that your mum's going to absolutely love. And, mums are always trying to, put hidden veg and stuff in your food. So put hidden veg in your mum's food. All right. And put that kale in there, right? She's going to love it. She won't even know it's there. Now that I've said that, there wasn't any kale at the shop.
I was like, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
think there's
went
kale in this,
yesterday and I
but
went
you
again
could.
today and there was no kale. I don't know who's
Uh,
buying up all this kale. But what I did have though was silver beet. So as a little twist, I also have the fancy schmancy new
New
thermo
server.
So what I did was I just put the kale leaves without the thick stem. in here with some boiling water, put the lid on, left it there for about 5 minutes, and then rinsed it out and then like really wrung that silver beet out because you don't want it to be wet, right? It needs to, have a bit of traction with the blades, and also no one wants a gluggy salad. It's not a salad then, is it? It's more like a soup. So we're definitely doing salad. I have already got the quinoa on.
It's just finished. Oh, we couldn't hear
Right?
that on our Zoom. It
Do you
silences
like
the
that?
noise, but it
Perfect. You can't hear it. Sorry, yes. But timing, thank you very much. That was brilliant. So I had already put the kale on. There's 200 grams of kale, 200 grams of quinoa. If you need help remembering how to spell it, then you can call it quinoa. But it is quinoa. And I've got the tricolor one because I'm a bit fancy. But I've put that in 200 grams of quinoa. Remember to rinse it. You need to rinse this stuff just like rice. You need to give it a good rinse first. I had my child do that, so another, wonderful thing about being a mother. So we're just going to pop this in here. I think there was 400 grams of water to the 200 grams of quinoa.
so
Right. So
that's what I love about the Thermomix. You can't get your ratios wrong because it literally tells you what to do. So, rice, you might have a dodgy rice cook or, or quinoa. Quinoa's kind of hit and miss sometimes in the pot back in the day.
yeah.
But with the Thermomix, you can't stuff it up, which we love.
No, you can't. And this is quite honestly, no word of a lie, and not because I was practicing, but because I actually really love it. So the reason why I'm making this salad today is because I love it so much, that I want to share it with all of you, but then also so I can eat it. But what I've found is that sometimes like you're cooking with the Thermomix, and oopsie, I put too much water in. What am I going to do now, right? Doesn't matter. There was probably about, I don't know, maybe 50 grams extra in one of the times I cooked this. And it was runny, like not like this. It was actually quite runny. And I put the lid on this and left it, and it just soaked it all up, right? And then it became really fluffy and delightful. So don't be afraid. Don't go overboard, obviously, but don't be afraid if you put too much water in. It's all very good. So this needs to cool a little, but I'm going to leave the lid off this. But that's the quinoa all done. And then it says to, I think, stir it, which I've done. You saw me do that. Rinse the mixing bowl.
No, we don't need to
No,
rinse.
just, use your discretion with that kind of thing, because depending on what you're making, obviously, I mean, if I was going to go and make, Raf's dish with, tempering chocolate and whatever, I certainly wouldn't, I might leave the quinoa in there, wouldn't be a problem. But if I had onion in there, I wouldn't, but look here, this is quinoa. The salad's all going to go together. Don't worry about it. So next, I'm going to add some apples. Am I right to keep going?
Yeah, keep going for a bit. Yeah, and then
Very
we'll go
well.
to Daniela. Yeah.
Okay. So you want 2 apples, peeled and quarter. Not, oh, well, look, it says peeled, but again, I washed them, I scrubbed them. Raf, I scrubbed them. Okay. They don't have any wax on them.
Good
All right,
extra
girl, I
fiber,
got you.
isn't it? Extra
Right.
fiber with the peel.
I know better. So
Raf's
2 of
our
those.
resident health guru with our.
We don't need
Yeah.
the spray. We don't need the toxins. Good
We
for
don't
No,
need the
we don't.
toxins.
Thank
We
you.
don't
No
need that
toxins.
hideous wax. No. So that's all gone. But the fiber that I'm going to get from leaving the skin on was worth the scrub. Next is going to be our walnut halves. So I throw those in. That is 100 grams of that. We go next, and now we're going to give them a little choppy. Pull it on. I've done this sitting down. It's quite interesting.
So you can sit down and cook. Who would have thought? Oh, your whole table's rocking.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
It was a bit of fun, wasn't it? All right, so I'm just going to transfer these to a bowl. My chopped apples and nuts. I'm actually going to chop them a bit more, and
A little bit
I'm
more.
going to tell you why. And you're going to laugh at me. You can. It's fine. So I'll tell you what happened. I think, when they say to, I'm going to mark this as the current step, to go and rinse the bowl. It might be because the bowl's hot. And then when you go to try to chop something, it goes slowly because it's hot. So my apples didn't chop so well.
Well, that's a good hot tip.
Hot tip, right? You learned it here first, and so did I. Much better. Much better. Not afraid to show you that. And look how good's the Thermomix. I can use it sitting down. All right. So we've got our chopped apples in here with our walnuts. Again, this recipe tells me to leave them, like put them in a separate bowl away from the quinoa. And I think that is because the quinoa needs to cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to like cook your apples, I guess. So another hot tip. Clean your mixing bowl. I have not learnt my
Ignore.
lesson, so I'm going to continue with this bowl. This is going to make the dressing for the salad. So are you happy for me to keep going, or do you want me to pause and go to Daniela?
Let's go to Daniela and then we will come back. So we've got our quinoa and our apples all ready to go.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Daniela because she's been cooking her chicken, and as Daniela's making more of a main, hers might need a little bit more time. So we'll come back to you, Daniela.
Alrighty. I don't know if you guys can see my screen there, but I'm just going to weigh in the vegetable portion of the ingredients for the dish. So I just scraped down the bottom of the bowl to keep all the browning that's there from the chicken. And now I'm just going to put in the shallots or eschalots. I don't really know how to pronounce that. So this recipe's got red capsicum, carrot, snow peas, and broccoli. You really can put in any vegetables that you like. Like if you're not a fan of broccoli, put in some more greens in there or a bit more carrot. I always say when it comes to cookie dough recipes, it really is guided. So you can put whatever your taste desires when it comes to ingredients. And generally, even if I swap out things, like say if a recipe calls for coriander instead of, something that I might actually like, I'll just swap it out and it still can turn out just fine. All right, so I'm just going to pop in, all the vegetables are in there now, a little bit of olive oil to cook these off. That should be plenty. And it's forgiving too, if you're slightly under or over, you can adjust the cooking time, just like I did earlier with cooking the chicken. So because I had extra chicken thighs, I didn't want them to go to waste. So instead of having just 250 grams, I popped in whatever it was. I think it was like 300 or 320. And in order to make sure that they're cooked through, I just repeated the step for cooking to make sure that, there was no like pink bits left over. So, you can do that. It doesn't mean that you have to keep going. And it's very, very user friendly.
Yeah, beautiful. How long has that got for that cook?
5 minutes to saute the veggies, and then we'll be on the
Beautiful.
sauce. Yeah.
That's all right. We'll go to Jen because this is what I love about a Thermomix is that we've got an entire dish. Like, you're cooking your chicken, you're cooking your veg, you do your sauce, and it's all in the one jug. And that's what we love, to make things like this, cooking
Yeah.
like this, so much easier. Jen, let's hit us with the sauce. Sorry, guys, we're going back and forth a little bit, but yeah,
All good.
keeping it interesting.
Okay, so sauce. We start with some garlic. The recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic. Again, don't listen. 4 goes in, all right? But just remember, the more raw garlic that you put in, the hotter it's going to be. So raw garlic tends to be quite spicy in a way, right? So keep that in mind when you put them in. And then we go next. We're going to chop these bad boys. I'm glad we had that moment there to cool the bowl a little. Sounds good.
And people wouldn't think
Chopping
you could make a
away.
salad in a Thermomix. They would think, oh, you can't make, isn't it just, sauces and stuff? But you can absolutely do some amazing salads in your Thermomix. Like that broccoli salad is amazing. Look at that, chopping up your things. Yeah.
Just crazy. Like that was 5 seconds. You couldn't grate it yourself in 5 seconds, it would take a bit longer and you would, lose half your fingernail and not nail. Oh, sorry, no, your finger bit. Okay, we've scraped that down and now we want extra virgin olive oil. Don't be afraid, it's 80 grams, okay? But the reason why it's 80 grams is because this makes a really big salad. So those of you that are concerned about the Thermomix not being able to feed a larger family, you just need to look for the right recipes. This makes so much that I literally have to share it with friends and family to get through it. Although my son would probably, eat a lot of it by
So this is
himself.
a good one to take to a barbecue or
Yes,
a family function or something like that where you have to feed the crowd or take a plate, a good take a plate kind of one.
absolutely. Yeah, and don't tell anyone about the kale. So then we're going to add the apple cider vinegar. So, think about these flavors coming together now. So we've got garlic,
Yum.
olive oil, the cider vinegar, and this. I don't know if you probably can't because it's a bit reflecty,
It's a bit
but
glary.
that's going to tell me that I've done it correctly. Now we've got honey. So obviously you can, put your own flavoring in this if you wanted to use maple syrup or something like that. It will change the profile slightly, but honey's pretty good. I've learnt, I mean, you probably already know it, but look, I've got some olive oil on my cloth here, and I'm going to just wipe my spatula with it because the way that I got my honey in here is I put some olive oil in my tablespoon. Obviously, just wiped it and then poured the honey in, and it just came out without leaving any residue.
Oh,
Brilliant,
I
right?
didn't know that.
Oh, it's so
Let's
good. It just slips
let's
right off.
see.
You all
Let's see
right?
this hot tip,
Or
Jen.
you could just lick the spoon.
Well, you could lick the spoon. You could indeed, but I just didn't want to waste any of this golden goodness. So pop that in. Be like, to see.
Oh, there you
Yep,
go. Jen's
learn
hot
something
tip
new
for the
every
night.
day. So there's the honey, Dijon. Now that that's made no mess on there, I'm going to make a mess with Dijon. So 2 tablespoons of Dijon in there. These flavors born for each other,
So it's a
honestly.
pretty cheap dish to make as well, Jen. Like there's
Oh yeah,
not because we don't
absolutely.
have any like, meats or something. I mean, you could easily add chicken to it, but like it's a
Yep, that's
pretty
I've thought about that. Yes.
yeah, it's a pretty
Um, it's pretty
cheap meal
good.
to me. Yeah.
And I don't want to go on about it, but kale's actually really cheap. It's like $2.50 for a big bunch.
Clearly
Okay.
it's there's none left.
Well, who's buying it anyway? Okay, so now I need salt and pepper, which where did I add it? Here. Okay. Yeah. So a teaspoon of salt and some cracked pepper. Pop that in. If you're an old Thermomix consultant, you understand what those are. You'll have 500 million of them running around your house. We have for demos. Okay, that's in, and then the pepper, and then next we're going to mix it. I love that I don't have to think about the ratio of this salad dressing. Like, oops, put too much of that. No, you didn't, because you listen to how you use. So that's just 10 seconds. We're going to mix that. I know you can't hear it, but I've just made myself really loud, thinking that you can.
No, it's fine. All the cookie do recipes,
Is it
if you
done?
don't know, are recipe developed by a team. So everything's like triple tested. They're pretty good. I mean, I always say to customers that, cookie do is like opening up a cookbook. You might not love every single recipe, but there's going to be when you've got over 100,000 recipes, you're going to have a good amount that you're going to love. But remember that like the girls have said, you can adjust any recipe to your liking, adding extra flavors, whatever it is. It is purely a guide or it can be your Bible. So take it as you will, whatever kind of cook you are.
Fantastic segue, because as mentioned earlier, we have some silver beet here instead. So this part of the recipe, we add 100 grams of kale to the bowl. Yep, okay, this is going to work out pretty
Sandra
well.
was saying her mum loves silver beet, but I remember my mum cooking like big pots of, it's very Italian, isn't it, Raf? Like that big pot of silver beet with some fresh, like just olive oil and stuff like that. But
Yeah, right?
delicious.
Yep.
Garlic, olive oil,
Delicious.
lemon
Oil and a
juice.
tomato.
That's it.
Pop the lid on. And it's
Happy
everyone's
days.
fun dish.
Yeah.
And this dressing, by the way, you can use it for other salads. So that's the other thing I love about the cookie dough is that if I find a dressing that I like, instead of just maybe making another salad where I would just do olive oil, vinegar, and salt, then I just save the salads all the time in my collections, and I remember the dressings, and then I make the dressings for other salads. You could make a roast pumpkin salad and use this dressing. So it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so this part we've chopped the kale with the salad dressing, and then we just want to pull it out because we're going to add the other. So there's basically 200 grams altogether of the kale, and we need to do it in sections just so that it all gets covered evenly. So I'm just going to try and make sure they get see how it's lovely and coated.
Yum.
I didn't drop that in a very delightful way, but that's okay. It's all right. Okay.
Also, if this does become a salad that you like, and I mean, you can get everything in the supermarket these days, but if you're particularly keen on sticking to seasons and you want kale when it's in season, my tip is to buy it frozen. So you can buy organic frozen kale. My Thermomix just shut down. Organic frozen kale for the season when that it's picked and frozen, and then whenever you need it, you can use it all year round. So you can just take it out and defrost it and use it.
And it defrosts well, right?
No, I was going to say, and it's even for a salad, it'd be all right.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
Okay, that's cool. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yep.
But good to know.
Okay. So that's all wonderfully mixed. So now the rest of it, we don't need to pick it all out. We're just going to pour it in directly in there. And I think once this is in here, I'm just going to put the salad together. So if we need to go back to Daniela or we need to see Raf, we can do that.
We'll go to Daniela because I think her veggies are done. Veggies are cooked, ready to go.
Veggies are all cooked. I'll show you. I just popped them in the thermo server with the chicken. So there we go. They're all nicely sauteed.
And still crunchy. You know what I mean? The Thermomix has the right timing. So you've got these beautiful crunchy veg and they're not like, too soggy or anything. Timing's perfect.
Exactly. So it depends how you like it too. I don't like them too crunchy, so I actually did add an extra minute to cook it. So now they're perfect for my liking. And what I've done is I've just scraped all that goodness in the bottom of the bowl for the next step, which is for the sauce. So I'm just going to place in. It says 10 grams of ginger and garlic. Might have a little bit of extra in there. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. He seems to think there's a threat here somewhere. So this is going to chop for 8 seconds on speed 7.
So this is excellent dish. I mean, an entire dish within 20 minutes is ridiculously easy.
Yeah.
You've got your veggies, you've got your protein.
So that's all chopped up, ready to go. I'm just going to scrape down the sides of that. And the smell already is incredible just from the browning of the chicken and the veggies. That high heat mode really makes a difference. It's like you're sauteing on the stove. This is why I don't really use my stove much at all anymore. I do everything in here most of the time. Okay, so just popping in 70 grams of tamari. Or a little bit more in this case. Some honey.
Oh, honey's the ingredient for the night. Yes,
We love
Lindsay
our
said,
honey
and no
here.
cleanup from the splatter. Splattered
Yes,
oil splatter
exactly.
on a stovetop has to be my one of my biggest hates, which is completely eliminated with the Thermomix, with a high heat Thermomix.
I'm just popping in now 2 teaspoons of corn flour. That's to thicken the sauce with, and 2 teaspoons of water. And now that's just going to cook for 3 minutes.
Beautiful. Well, we might go back to Jen while your sauce is cooking, and then you can show us the finished product. Is that right?
Oh,
And you could definitely do like a rice or noodles or something like that
yeah,
with
I've
it.
actually
Yeah,
prepared that already. So this is going to
perfect.
be our lunches for tomorrow. So I've already
Beautiful.
portioned out my rice, steamed the rice in the Thermomix, ready to go. So I'll be dividing that up after it's done.
Pretty good. And you can see how helpful the thermo servers are. So it is, a great opportunity to book a demo in with your consultant because to get your hands on these servers, they really are a handy element to your cooking as well with your Thermomix.
Okay.
Jen, yeah, we're
Yes.
good.
So I've mixed, look at that. That looks absolutely fabulous. I've just mixed that together. And now what it's asking me to do is put this bowl onto the lid so that we can weigh in the ingredients. For, the ease of everything. I've already weighed this out. So I'm just going to basically put it together. So what we're going to add next, but I will let this tell me. We've got some, oh, I put them blind. Goat's cheese. All right. So might be a little divisive, okay, but it's not sponsored, right? But Meredith's goat, Meredith goat cheese, you can get it from Coles, Woolworths, I think, maybe just, anyway, it is so good, it's ridiculous, all right? Hold yourself back from this. So 120 grams of that, you want to break it up a little bit, which I have done previously with my
I love
handy
goat's
dandy
cheese.
spatula. Okay, that goes in. And then we've got 100 grams of dried cranberries. Yeah, I don't like sultanas in savory things, but
Well, I was just about to
cranberries,
say you can swap those out for sultanas for
I was going to say, what
right?
else could you use? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
You could. I wouldn't.
just not at Jen's house.
No. Cooked beetroot. So obviously I grew these myself and I peeled them in the Thermomix with
Blade cover.
the blade cover peeler. And then I slow cooked them in the Thermomix. And then I've used them here to put in my salad. And then we've got that mixture that we made before. So the apple and the walnut. We're going to throw that in as well. You see what I mean? Look at this baby. Fill it up.
No,
Just
nothing
fill it up.
basic about a Thermomix salad. Hey, look at that, jam packed with ingredients.
All right. And
That is a really big salad. I didn't
right.
expect it to make that much. Wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you. And it's kind of not not when it's light when you eat it, because quinoa, it's not like a heavy thing, but it's
It's
how to explain it.
dense. So,
It's dense. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a grain and it's
yeah,
um
it's a good more than a
it's
side, I
hearty.
reckon.
It's hearty.
Yeah.
And your mum is gonna love it for the colors, for the hidden veg, for the effort. Well, you didn't really put in a lot because you used your Thermomix, but it's the thought that counts, they say. So
Who remembers the size of our here's a quiz? Who remembers the size of our thermo servers? 2 point something. How many liters? Can't remember.
2.2, no, 2.6.
The thermo
2.6
servers.
liter.
So that's
Yeah,
2.6 liters of salad there, which is
yeah.
incredible. So anyone who doubts that the Thermomix can't feed a crowd, I think this is one element that's proven you wrong. That's for sure.
And not only that, but this is, this is taken, I think it takes including cooking the quinoa or whatever, it takes like half an hour, right? So you've done this in half an hour and then you can go and make something else in it. You can make your Portuguese bread. You can, then go and saute your vegetables or whatever, steam them, whatever it might be. So
Beautiful.
that's so good. And it smells divine, very fresh.
Mm.
And look, I'm happy with that.
I'd be very happy with that. Wish I lived
Thank you for the
closer.
class. So I've got it again for this week.
Amazing. Well,
Love
we're going
it.
to jump
Thank
back
you.
to Daniela, and
Of
she's
course.
going to finish off hers, and then we're going to jump to Raf.
Yeah, so that sauce is all done. The smell is amazing. So that thickened up really nicely in
It
there.
really did.
I'm actually going to scrape the rest of it out.
And you can see how easy it is to make a sauce in a Thermomix, and Raf could follow this up as well as Daniela. Without all the extra bits of ingredients, you
I was
don't
just
need
about to
them.
say, exactly.
There's no
Minus the
additive,
preservatives.
minus
Yeah.
all the
Exactly. Yeah.
minus the crap. Basically, you know that what you're cooking in your Thermomix,
Yeah.
the
And teriyaki
ingredients are
sauce.
clean.
Yeah. If you look at teriyaki sauce on the shelf, if you turn a bottle around, you'll absolutely, not only will you see additives and preservatives, but you see colors. A lot of
Yes.
those sauces, oyster sauce, teriyaki, etc., they tend to have caramel color, and that's,
Delicious.
yeah. So that's great.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is
So
super clean. That looks delicious,
it is
Daniela.
amazing. And it's so impressive that, I've made everything in one bowl and that's all I have to clean is just the
Yeah,
one bowl itself. And I've got lunch sorted for this week.
definitely. And I do love the veggies in the jug. I do love cooking like some Asian veggies in the jug, and I don't have to get the aroma out too. Sometimes I don't want to
Yeah.
steam them, and just throwing them
Yeah.
in and getting that crisp is just delicious. So that's an entire meal in 20 minutes. So well done. That was a good find. Thank you so much, Daniela.
Thank you.
And lucky last. So we are going to Raf, I've popped the recipes in the chat. So yours it's called a pre-workout nut and date bark. So when you look up in things in Cookie Do, you do have to be a little bit specific with the title. So just press that link or, look it up. But then you'll be able to find Raf's sweet ending to our class tonight.
Yeah, and I just I chose this for a few reasons. First of all, a lot of us mums, I think, like to have a treat that is, cleaner than usual. And I know certainly when the kids go to bed, sometimes, not all the time, I might want to pop past the fridge and take something out of the fridge or the pantry to snack on. And I love that this is something that I've made that lasts in the fridge for as long as it will before I eat it. But it's clean, but obviously also it's the ingredients are great for pre-workout, which is why it's called pre-workout because of the protein in it. So this you may have seen on Instagram. I reckon about a year or so ago, there was a pretty big craze where everyone was doing bark. They were doing this date bark, date bark, date bark. This is it. So what Thermomix have done, and they're pretty good at doing this, is they've converted a really popular recipe into the cookie dough. So, you can really adapt this recipe to anything that you like. That's what I love about it. And I'm actually adapting it tonight. One thing I wanted to show you is not all the recipes, but you can't really see, can you? If you go into this recipe and you hit, it pops up saying send to TM7. So you actually don't need to even, cook today or schedule it. When you hit send to TM7, you can't see it on my screen, but it pops up straight away on my Thermomix. The recipe just comes up straight away. I don't have to go into my week. I don't have to go into the calendar and select it. It comes up straight away. Now, the first step is to split the dates and put them on a tray. Now, I've already done that. So I basically just opened up the dates and pressed them down on a tray. Again, you don't even have to be neat or fancy. Just try and have a little bit overlapping. The other reason why I love this recipe, and again, you probably can't see it, but is it's got a little video. So you might be able to see a play sign there. And if you can, I'm trying to get my camera right. It actually shows you what to do on the video. So it shows you how to squash the dates, which, might seem like a simple thing. But if you've never made this before and you're reading the instructions, you might not know. So not all cookie dough recipes have videos, but this one does, and I love it. So I've already done that. It says to do it on plastic, but I'm not a fan of plastic, so I do it on baking paper. So basically, I've split open the dates and just squished them on the tray. It says then to add 20 grams of salted peanuts. Now, when I said I want to adapt it, it's because this recipe has peanut butter and peanuts, and I didn't want the peanuts and the peanut butter. I love pistachios. So I swapped out the peanuts for pistachio. So just hop in the pistachios, so done, and hit next, and it's going to chop them up. So pop the lid on, and my kids are asleep, so it's not going to wake them up.
Oh, that's good. Mine is still awake because my husband's not home, so they know it's a free for all when mum's on a cooking class.
Oh dear. Okay, so then it says, so once I've done that, it says to spread 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. The other thing you could do, and I do it often, is make your own peanut butter in the Thermomix. So I always have peanuts in the pantry. So if I run out of peanut butter, or I actually just want to make my own peanut butter, throw peanuts, about 450 grams of peanuts into your Thermomix, speed 10 for 6 minutes. You don't even need to scrape down the bowl, just let it run, and then you'll have creamy peanut butter. But when I am at my favorite supermarket, which is Terra, I often buy this peanut butter because I really love this one too. So it just says to drizzle 2 tablespoons of peanut butter over the dates. So I'll do that in a minute, and then it said then I've got to melt the chocolate. So I'm going to take the so that's, you can see there the chopped up, not really, but I'll show you in the bowl. It might be a bit easier. You don't even need to wash the bowl in between. Can you see?
We love that.
There?
Yep.
Just
perfect.
chop them up really fine. You don't need to wash the bowl. It senses the bowl is not on, and now it's saying to add 100 grams of chocolate. I only ever have dark chocolate in my house, so this is 70 grams of organic dark chocolate. I buy these choc chips and I use it for all my baking. So that's 100 grams in there. It's going to tick itself off because I've got the perfect amount. And then you hit next, and it's going to grate the chocolate first, and then it's going to melt it. So it's 5 seconds. So it's grated that down. Now it'll tell me to scrape down the sides, which 9 times out of 10, to be honest, you actually don't need to, because it depends on the amount of chocolate you're chopping. It doesn't really go high up the bowl. So hit next, and I've got to add 10 grams of coconut oil. And again, I buy organic coconut oil from Terra Madre. Make sure that it's cold pressed. Make sure that it's not deodorized. I don't know why there is such a thing.
Deodorized?
Yes.
I didn't even think that was a thing.
I don't know. I think there's something about it that they do. I don't know what it is, but they sell it there. They sell 2 versions of it. And yeah, I don't know why. I just never buy that one. Make sure you don't buy that one. And
refined, but not. Yeah.
And yeah, it melts your. I never waste coconut. I never waste any oil. It's a moisturizer. That's why my nonna had soft skin, because she just used olive oil for everything.
Ah, yeah.
No, I swear, my nonna's hands were so soft. It's crazy, but it's because she always had her hands in oil, and so now I do that every time I got oil. I'm like, don't waste the oil. I'm rubbing it.
Yeah.
So now a minute at 80 degrees at speed 1.5, it's going to melt the chocolate. So I'll let you guys chat while I put the other pieces together.
So literally it's a 10-minute thing, and you've got a very clean protein, like a very
even less
clean.
than 10 minutes. It's 5 minutes really, and then you've got to put it in the fridge for it to go cold, or the freezer if you want it to be faster. But then when it comes out, you just chop it up into little bits and put it in a container and leave it in your fridge, and so you can always fast and get it. And even my kids love it, and it's a healthy treat, and they still love it because the dates are like caramel. So it is delicious, and you can really play with it any way you want. You can swap out, like I swapped out the peanuts for pistachio. You could do all different types of nuts. You can add, in the past, I've added dried fruit. So I buy like a from Terra Madre, I buy it's called a antioxidant mix, and it's like goji berries, blueberries, and it's a few other berries dried.
Oh, yum!
Oh, it's delicious. It's sour, almost sour, and a little sweet. And so I buy that mix, and sometimes I do that with nuts. It's delicious.
Yeah. Get some of those edible like petals.
You
or
could
whatever,
do that if you want to make it really
for Mother's Day. Make them look pretty for Mama.
Yeah. Sandra, it's called pre-workout nut and date barks.
I'll repaste. Yeah, it's up above in the chat. I've put the link there if that helps. And then it will take you straight to that for Cookie Doo. No worries.
I'm just going to put it together while you guys talk.
This is great because I actually haven't, I think I've done the chicken teriyaki, but I haven't really cooked the other two. So these are why classes are great to have and to, participate in, because you're getting exposure to some new recipes and some new things to try. And, our online classes, we pick things that are quick and efficient, not long dishes. So we're all busy people, and it's great to have these options. Sandra's asked, could I use almonds instead of peanuts? Have you used almonds instead of peanuts, Raf?
Totally. I actually buy a mixed roasted, again from Terra Madre, not sponsored, but I buy
We're all going to do a trip to Terra Madre.
yeah, I buy a roasted nut mix from there, and it's got almonds in it. But otherwise, yeah, I any nut at all, because it actually just chops it up for you, so it makes it kind of crumbly. I'm going to take a photo of this because you're not going to be able to see it, but it looks so pretty as well with the color of the chocolate and the pistachio. So again, maybe you can see it. Let me try. Can you see that?
Yeah, you can. You can.
And now I'm going to drizzle the chocolate on top. So it can actually be a pretty little treat. You can even, if you wanted to gift it to someone, you could even
That's
pop it up
what
and put it in some cellophane and tie a bow around it, or put it in a nice cardboard box.
Sandra said she's going there tomorrow, but I think Raf's added another $100 to your shop by all their little
You don't
tips.
leave Terra Madre without spending $250.
No,
so that's pretty
I know. No, that is very true.
Grab a spatula. Because now I'm going to pour my chocolate over it. So can you see the melted chocolate? Probably not.
Yep.
A little bit, yep. Okay.
Once again, what could be an annoying task on a stove, super quick in the Thermomix. It's grated, it's done, it's all contained, and it makes like desserts like this, or treats like this, achievable. It makes it doable with your family.
I mean, I always melt chocolate in the Thermomix. Like, I can't even imagine. I mean, for starters, I don't have a microwave anymore, but I can't even imagine melting it on the stovetop. Like, how painful that would be.
You'd have to use the double boiler
say,
method.
What did you say, sorry?
You'd have to use the double boiler method, which is a pain as it is on the stove.
And more dishes to clean. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
Forgot about that double boiler.
I actually, I've never melted chocolate in the Thermomix before, so I'm going to do it now that I've seen you do that. Yeah, look at that.
So now it's like that, and so I'll just pop that in the fridge and let it harden up, basically. So the chocolate keeps it together, and then you just break it in pieces or chop it in pieces. It's dangerous, honestly. It's dangerous to have in your fridge, because you're just going to want to snack on it all the time. But yeah, it's delicious. The other thing that I wanted to say, for those who don't know the Cookie Doo too well, and again, I can't show you on my phone because it's not going to show you properly, but if you scroll to the bottom of a recipe, you get the nutrition per portion. So you can see it's high in carbs, so it's 20 grams of carbs, 1.4 grams protein, saturated fat 1.9. So yeah, that's why it's called a pre-workout treat. My other tip is that when you scroll further down, it shows you the cookbook it belongs to. So this belongs to a cookbook called Pre-Workout Snacks. And when you go to that cookbook, you can save the cookbook or the collection. And in that, it's got matcha baked oats, puffed quinoa, almond and honey bars. So there's an energy shot, and there's more pre-workout snacks. So whenever I find a recipe that I like, I always go to the bottom and look at the cookbook and either save the entire collection or save the individual recipes, because 9 times out of 10, like there's a Greek collection in there, and I swear I was Greek in my former life. And we made tzatziki the other night, and like 10 out of that whole cookbook, I've already saved 10 of those recipes because I make them all the time. The moussaka, this, that. So yeah, always look for the collection.
Yum. That's awesome. Well, that is it. Look what we've achieved in literally like 49 minutes. We have cooked up a main, we've cooked up our chicken teriyaki, we've got a jam-packed salad there, and we've got a delicious little treat after. So I hope that's given you some inspo. A huge thank you to Daniela, Raf, and Jen for taking the time to do this for our customers. So we really, really, really appreciate it. And I hope it helped, and I hope it's given you some inspo, not only for Mother's Day, but to make our life easier as mothers and to make cooking a little bit easier. So please reach out to any of us. If you have ever considered potentially joining our amazing team, you can see that not only do we do demos and sell Thermomix and stuff like that, but we just love our Thermies. And these are great times and great experiences to share ideas and actually work collaboratively. So being a consultant isn't just about selling, Thermomixes, it's all this stuff too. And we all genuinely love the cooking side and the health side and all those other bits and pieces. So if you are interested ever in joining, you're more than welcome to come along. Thank you once again, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone. See
you.
you later.
Bye.
Thank you.